We're rolling. Okay, we'll get started here. All right, welcome to the Legacy Project, a podcast about building wealth, purpose, and freedom that lasts. Here we explore what it takes to create a life of meaning and legacy. I'm your host, Cole Stephenson, and today I'm joined by Curtis Larsen, a man who refuses to live on anyone else's terms. Curtis is a Wyoming-based entrepreneur, real estate developer, and an avid outdoorsman. From building innovative storage unit facilities and investing in Airbnbs in the Tetons to supporting his wife Megan in launching June Beauty Lab, Curtis has shown that business can be both bold and family centered. He's a farmer, a hunter, and a father, raising goats and training hounds while also raising businesses that leave a lasting mark. But Curtis's story goes deeper: seller financing deals, lessons learned from ventures that didn't pan out, and now a bold bet on Wyoming's future as he looks to develop a housing um, development near Kemmerer, where Bill Gates is building a groundbreaking nuclear power plant. So today we'll dive into his relentless drive, his love for the hunt, both in the mountains and in business, and what legacy means to him. Curtis, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Cole. Appreciate it. That was a lot of
That's
nice
the
words that you
yeah
said,
the
and
ultimate hype up.
not sure I live up to many of them, but we'll see.
You do, man. You've been an example to me my whole life. So Curtis is my uncle. Um, so Curtis actually served his mission for the church how many years before me? So many years before me. Just kidding, you're not that
Yeah,
old.
oh 04. So yeah,
Back in
quite a bit.
'04, yeah. So I served mine in 2016. But Curtis actually served his mission in Ecuador. And I thought that that was the coolest thing when I was, tiny little, you know, kid. I'm like, dang, my uncle's in Ecuador. Like, where even is that? That's the coolest thing ever. And also crazy. And we talk to you, once or twice a year. And so, yeah, I thought that was the coolest thing. And that like set my example. Like, man, I gotta be, because I loved you like growing up, like you were my idol. And so yeah, come full circle. When I was graduating high school, I actually also got called to serve my mission in Ecuador,
Yeah,
which is insane. Like, what are the odds?
so cool.
Um, but that is definitely, yeah, been the source of, yeah, following your example throughout my life. So I really appreciate that and appreciate you, Kurt.
Yep, appreciate you.
So, yeah, and we actually, like I was talking about earlier, we got to come out to Kemmerer, Wyoming yesterday and go check out a potential deal that we're looking at. But yeah, tell us about that.
You want to start there? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've always been, I've wanted to do developments from the beginning. Um, Weirdly enough, we started with a big old commercial development with the storage units. So
Yep.
kind of a big jump from zero to that. But a little background there. Like you mentioned earlier, we heard about Bill Gates and his Natrium plant that he was going to be bringing into Kemmerer, and knew that, Kemmerer is a small town, 3,000 people, old homes. There were a few storage facilities there, but every single one of them was full. So we thought, he's slated to bring in some 12 to 1,500 new jobs, and anyone that moves to Kemmerer most likely will be downsizing. So there
Hmm.
will be a big need for storage. So we jumped on that. We bought a piece of property there. Everything kind of fell into place super quick. We decided Kemmerer. We found a realtor that had just listed a piece one day before. She hadn't even fully updated the listing. We said, "Don't do it. We'll just buy it from you." And we got the land. And then yeah, that was 2 years ago. So I had started thinking about storage a year prior to that, and we had been researching and figuring out places. And then Kimmer showed up, so we jumped all in. And man, the struggles between the starting that and now have been intense between contractors and building and building inspectors and all that stuff. It's been a lot, but we finally are open now as of last week. I've got my certificate of occupancy and I've got a few people already in and hoping to get a bunch more. But yeah, so that, I mean, Kemmerer has kind of been my baby right now doing the storage. And then, I thought, man, if 1,200 new jobs are going to be in Kemmerer and there's no housing, there's no new housing, there's, not many options, like that could be a super good thing to pursue. So I've been looking for land and I've got a partner and a real estate agent there that lives in Kemmerer, and she's kind of kept me on the spectrum and hadn't even listed it. She had this guy that owned property that he was going to develop and do. And, he was more in the commercial world and ended up doing another thing in another state and decided to sell. And she said, "Hey, I know a guy." She got a hold of me and I think we're going to do it. I think we're under contract this week and
Heck yeah.
hopefully get her done. That's the plan.
That's awesome. So how many
Yeah.
units does the storage unit have?
So my storage unit, it's big. We wanted to go big or go home. So we've got
Yep.
270 units.
Nice.
We've got all sizes. We've got a few 5x5s, and then we have 10x10s, 10x15s, 10x20s, and then big 10x30 pull throughs with doors on both sides. So
Nice.
if people want to pull a car or a boat or trailer of some
Yeah.
kind inside, it works for them.
So yeah, that's awesome. And yeah,
Yep.
I got to check it out yesterday. It's super cool to see it all come together. It's been, yeah, you hear Curtis is working on a storage unit. It's like, you know, so many years in the making. Here it is, though. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Most people don't start with storage units for their first real estate deal. They will, it's like the typical path is like, you follow some influencer, whatever guy, guru on social media, and it's usually, start with a single family rental, rent out your basement and just get your feet wet there, and then slowly build up and, bigger and bigger projects. Why, like, what pushed you to do something so big at the very start of your, real estate world, I guess?
Yeah. So to back up a little bit, like I do have a long term rental. We lived in Driggs, Idaho for a while, and after we moved from there, we put a renter in there, and over the years, I've developed a couple more small homes back there, and we do Airbnb and stuff like that. But in doing my research in real estate, like storage was at the top of my list because it is so minimal to manage
Yeah.
and the potential is so great. So, that kind of piqued my interest early on. Like, okay, this is something that I can, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to build up and, get to capacity and fill up. But that could be residual income for the rest of my life with minimal
Yeah.
effort.
Yep.
So kind of just dove all in with that. My main partner and investor is Papa Bruce, um, my dad,
Yep.
Cole's grandpa.
Mhm.
Um, he got all fired up when I started telling him about the potential upside on storage, and so he said, "Let's do it. Let's partner and figure out how to make it happen." And he's kind of led the charge financially to help us out that way. And I've been
And your boots on the ground over there.
boots
Yeah.
on the ground, getting it all up and running and squared away. But yeah,
How do you manage? So I have a couple fix and flip projects that we're working on right now. Um, Three actually, and we raise private equity for those deals, and there's a lot at stake, and in my world, right? As far as, capital and relationships and the market and managing all of that. How do you deal with the mental load of, the process of building it too? Like hoping it's all going to work, right? How do you deal with that? Because that's something that I struggle with, but sometimes I'm good at it. But sometimes it's like it's too much, and it's like I just want to quit and not do this anymore just because of the stress of it all. So how do you manage that?
oh, I'm just like you. There have been plenty of days where it's like, okay, we got to hang up now before we get too deep into it and try to figure out how to dig ourselves out of this. But yeah, I don't know really how to answer that. It's just it's just a process. And, from the beginning, the way that things all fell into place kind of, set my mind and heart at ease,
Yeah.
because of, how things were going. And, it just lined up so perfectly that it just felt good,
Yeah.
and I know it's not really good to base all your decisions on emotions and feelings and things like that. And, we did have the research on the back end, but I think the majority of the decisions that were made were based on, that hope and that feeling. And, it's hard because, I've put in some money, but the majority of the money is my partner, Bruce. And it's hard
Yeah.
knowing that he's put in so much, and it's kind of resting on my shoulders to make sure that that gets covered and taken care of and this thing
Right.
actually works. And so, yeah, it's tough. Some days I want to take off and not come back, but you know, I've got that underlying feeling and thing from the beginning that, yeah, this is all going to
That's
work
good.
out. You just got to keep it up and fight through all the hard things. And because there are hard things, there's been hard things for 2 stinking years. So,
Right.
but you can kind of
Yeah,
start
no,
to
that
see
makes
the
sense.
light now. So,
Yes. And you're getting bookings. That's the coolest thing ever. Open up
yep,
shop and you already got three people, two signed, one more interested, right?
yep, yep.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Um, yeah, and I kind of look at this, and we are talking about this specifically with the deal that we're looking at right now. It's a 50 unit, single family house development. And I get to Kemmer and we're like, there is nothing out here, right? Like it's just land. It's like, who's gonna buy these houses?
Mm.
Um, and I kind of think, and one thing that we were talking about is, Bitcoin and crypto and all that. My partner, the hardest time to buy, the hardest time to make a decision like that is when no one else is doing it. But that's also part of the massive amount of value that can be provided in those cases, right? Where it's a huge risk. And, you talk about emotions, and it's like you don't want to make decisions off of emotions. But if you didn't, how'd you
Yeah,
ever get those ginormous wins, right?
yep,
Um, Comes with big losses too. And I think that's part of it. But if you only make decisions based off of, the facts and the numbers always, you'll never win, right? I love the saying, um, pessimists get to be right, but optimists get to be rich. And I've
nice.
said that a lot because it's true. Like the pessimist, it's like, well, this, and this. Okay, you're probably right. But an optimist, if he's right 1 out of 10 times, right, they get to, you know, enjoy that financial gain or whatever that comes from making that bet.
Just the
Um,
process of it too. It's like if you never try or do anything, you never would have known. And yeah, you might screw
yep,
up 9 times out of 10, like you say, but that 10th time might erase all those 9 screw ups and make you feel great. So,
by 100-fold,
yep,
exactly. So I like that. And so yeah, I was talking about crypto because my partner, he loves talking about crypto and investing in it, and he's getting me to do a little bit more of that. But he was buying it when no one else was buying it, and he was Mr. Crazy Pants, right? And now he's not so crazy anymore, right? And so things like this could definitely be a huge win. All things go well with the plan and all of that. It's
yep,
like it was a no-brainer, and it's like, man, everyone's gonna be like, oh man, we should have, built some single-family houses right there because this would have exploded. So I love it. So
yep.
you've built a life that's far from working for the man, right? So where did that mindset of independence and self-reliance first come from?
Well, I think it was learned because I haven't always been able to just work for myself. I've um, obviously worked a lot of jobs for the man.
Yeah.
I was a nursing home administrator in in Arizona for a few years, and with a corporation and stuff like that. And so you learn by doing, and I learned pretty quickly that they didn't care too much about the individual people or employees. They just cared about filling spots and positions and things like that. And when it really came down to it, um, your time and your efforts didn't really matter. Um, and
Mm,
as cynical as that sounds, like it, I mean, it's true. And I wanted the
it's
opposite in my
true.
life. I want to be able to, you know, be my own person, be able to live my own life, not be tied to that, 9 to 5 job or whatever. And I get that it's, those 9 to 5 jobs are great for some people. That's perfect for them and their lives and their circumstances. And I'm just speaking about my own, circumstances here.
Yeah.
But, I've always had that mindset where like, okay, I got to do something. There's something out there that I need to be doing that
Mm.
is gonna, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be, um, kind of help fulfill or whatever my destiny or my vision or whatever. And that's always been, you know, doing it either with myself or with family or things like that. Um,
That's
so
cool. I
yeah,
I want to speak to that a little bit. That feeling of like, oh man, there's got to be something more. It's tough to respond to that and actually take action on that because it's not the norm. And I felt that all the time, and I would talk to my wife about it. It's like like I I just switched jobs like when I was working the 9 to 5, and it was like, man, I'd be so happy if I got this job. I thought got the job, and I was just like, I could not bear to tell my wife that I was like still hating it, and like I didn't know how to even say it, like get the courage to be like, hey, I'm just because it's like, well, why? Well, what are you gonna do different? You still have to provide for your family. Um, so that was super hard, and I've had some conversations this week with um, some other people in my life that are kind of facing that same thing. And so there's a big difference. I talk about this all the time, but there's a big difference between being grateful and not being satisfied because in the moment having that job, I was absolutely grateful for the job. But it was recognizing that there's a difference between being unsatisfied. As human beings, we're born with that thing inside of us that wants to grow and to progress. And if we're not growing and progressing, then we're going to be completely dissatisfied until we find what that thing is, until we make that next growth. So being able to find something that is constantly a challenge, it's not supposed to be easy. You're not trying to find something easy. You're trying to find something that's challenging, that you love to do, that is helping other people, and then at the end of the day, accomplishing your purpose, which is your biggest impact, which is you and your family and, what you're trying to leave behind, which is, your legacy in the end of the day.
totally. I agree with that 100%. It's that satisfaction, like you said, and the gratefulness because all those jobs I needed and was super grateful for them and what they provided for our family. But you're right, there's a pit kind of inside that's still eating away at you. Like this isn't it, there's something else.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Dude,
like what? Yes.
I was sitting in the this is so dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyways, but working one of my jobs, I was in the bathroom scrolling on Instagram. And I pulled up this, it was Joe Rogan, and he said, man, there are people out there right now that are sitting in a bathroom stall scrolling on Instagram because they would rather be doing anything else in the whole world than what they're doing at their freaking 9 to 5 job. I literally was like,
your, your eyes went
oh
huge.
my
You're like, oh,
gosh. Yes. I was like, I started to feel heard. I was like, okay. But that's
thanks,
so hard
Joe.
because it's like, well, yeah, I was like, yeah, nice, Joe. But it's like, well, what is that? And I don't think it's as important to figure out what the thing is, but to know, like to have the knowledge that there actually is something for everyone. It's not like most people truly just accept, like, well, there's nothing for me. I just got to hate my life for the rest of my life. And what I say to that is that, like, you cannot stop at that because as a parent, and like you have kids, like yes, like the traditional mindset is you have to provide for your family. And everyone, the traditional mindset is you have to provide monetarily for your family. But that's not even a quarter of it. You have to provide mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of those things, and financially for your family. So if you're doing something that you absolutely hate and you'd rather be scrolling on Instagram in the bathroom stall, how are you supposed to come home from that soul suck and provide for your family in those other ways?
Yeah,
No.
totally.
So
Totally. Yep. That's
not a ton
something
of
I've
advice. Yeah.
no that's something I've struggled with a lot in my life, and I'm glad you said it because the financial providing on my end, Megan has always been super go getter, and from the beginning, like
Yeah.
she knew exactly what she wanted to do, and she went out and she got it and did it, and has been the breadwinner of our family, which has been super cool for her, but
Yeah.
being the husband, you're always, you got that, well, crap, I need to be providing financially as well. And sometimes that can overshadow the other stuff that you talked about, like the
Hmm.
kids and the house and the stuff like that. Like we definitely switched roles on a lot of things. And I mean, that's just hard because I think the male ego is
Yeah.
hard to deal with, but
Yep.
no, I think you're spot on with that. It's much more than just that, but that is a priority as well. And so that's, brings me back to this, finding what it is that I can truly do to bring that to my family as well. So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
yep.
Mm. No, that's cool. So do you, yeah, I guess I'm going to kind of push on that a little bit more.
Okay.
What does your day-to-day look like right now? And I guess what areas do you want to change in that sense to, you know, be more satisfied in those ways that you were mentioning?
So I'm just doing a part-time job here locally. So I work from 7 to noon. It's, it's not a lot of money. It's an hourly job, but it
Hmm.
is something. So I do have the gratitude there because it helps.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
at the same time, I'm working on the storage units. I'm working on building website for the wife and her business and helping her however I can. Plus the kids, it's like now they've got dance and swimming lessons and school, and you got to get home for the bus and all this stuff. So I mean it's a lot. Plus, Megan's at work most days, morning until evening, and
Hmm.
so some of the household items I get to do like laundry and food and have all that stuff ready, and which I'm totally fine with. I'm okay at doing that. But
Yeah.
I think the one time in my life that I actually felt positive about the financial part was in Arizona when I was an administrator making decent money doing that.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that, and I mean, I don't want it to define me. It's hard to not let it as the
Yeah.
man that needs to provide.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I mean, it's harder to open your eyes and realize what else you're bringing to the table. And so I've been trying to,
Totally.
reflect on that stuff and not dwell
Hmm.
on the other. But I think that I'm now moving in the right direction to where, I'm actually doing things that I'm passionate about that I want to do. And it's going to be a financial benefit for our family.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
Um,
like that. And I think that all of those pieces are just as important as the other. And I think it's important also, speaking of that traditional mindset, the way that you get to the outcome that you're trying to get, it's hard to say this, doesn't necessarily not matter, but your the impact that you're providing is the output. It's not necessarily how you're doing it, meaning, okay, am I spending every hour of my day providing for my family financially? No, but am I able to create income sources and ways to do that with way less time to be able to provide those other needs, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally for my kids? Yeah, I think you're doing a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for there. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. It's fun. And not everyone's paths are the same. And I've been realizing that more and more too. It's like, what works for some people doesn't work for some, and for some
Yep.
people it works out early, and for others it is later in life, and it just is what it
Yep.
is. So it's an
Yeah.
individual journey. So
Yeah. Exactly. So
yep.
that's awesome. So yeah, that's kind of like the work side of things. So yeah, I always talk about balance and like family life balance. I'm an avid hobbyist.
Yes.
Um, I got a lot of hobbies, and I think that that is so important. And we follow a guideline of the 12-week year in my business, and and there's certain things that we'll schedule in our weekly schedule that is kind of a reoccurring thing that we kind of hold ourselves, everyone in the company, accountable to doing every week. And part of that is scheduling at least 3 hours of like blocked out during the workday time that's hobby time of some sort. A breakout block is what we call it. I tend to find myself RC crawling or taking my car off roading or doing one of those other RC hobbies of some sort, working on my car. How does that balance and hobbies and stuff like that fit into your life?
Um, I focus a lot. I try to when time permits, but if you're dealing with
Hmm.
kids and stuff like that. But you can see in my video, I've got a mountain lion behind me,
Oh, yep. Hmm.
and if you see my other room, I've got a couple other animals. I got a deer and an antelope and a bear and stuff like that. So I really like
Did,
to be
did you
outdoors.
just did you just buy those mounts?
Yeah, I just got them on eBay. I could sit here for hours and tell you stories on each individual hunt that,
Oh
that I
man.
did. Fill up all our time. But no, I love hunting. I love hunting. I love fishing. So, if I ever have a second, I'm going to be doing one of those. Like I keep my predator call and rifle in the truck at all times. So if I have like
Heck
20
yeah,
minutes, I go pull over in the sagebrush and do some calling and try to find
dude.
out. And like, so yeah. And I've been super lucky to have the wife that I do because, she grew up with a hunter dad, and that helped, forge the way for a hunter husband that
Yep.
you know, knows
Allowed
that.
that space.
Yeah, that fall is for hunting, and she's been, it was tough at the beginning of our marriage, but she was super great and helped me to
That's
be able to
awesome.
continue to do that. So
Yes.
yeah, I try to do that as often as I can, and fly fishing. I was a fly fishing guide as well for a bunch of summers, and that was a good way to work while doing your hobby. And
Yes.
so yeah, I mean there's definitely effort to try to make time for those types of things in my life as well.
Nice. What's the next hunt, or what are you prepping for right now?
So last weekend I went on an elk hunt here in Wyoming, and we saw a ton of elk. It was archery. Got fairly close, but didn't quite get close enough. The rifle hunt opens in a couple weeks for elk here, so I'll go do that.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I got a bunch. Then we've got a deer tag in Idaho in October, and then this weekend I'm actually going to Idaho to help my brother Brandon with an antelope tag.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we make time for it. We like it a lot. So yeah,
That's so fun.
yeah,
That's awesome. You've
yep.
mentioned being inspired by Cam Haines.
Dude's
We love
crazy.
him. We love his books. Yeah, he's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But what about his philosophy resonates with you most? And how has it shaped your own drive?
Um, I have been following him for a really long time, and he has been doing the same thing the entire time. Consistency is key. Like that's what that's taught me. Like it could be monotonous and you could be tired and you could not want to do it for one day, but in his mind it's not an option. It's going to happen today because that is what I do. So I think that he's got the keep hammering mentality or whatever, that it's just you don't ever stop. If you want
Yeah.
something, you know what you have to do it. Don't let the weak mentality that's in your head stop you from doing it. It's just not an option. So I really liked that he's so consistent in everything that he
Yeah.
does. And um, one quote that I really like from him that he said, "I'm not good at anything, so I have to work harder than anyone." So he's like, I wasn't born with talent. I wasn't born with the silver spoon. He's like, so I just need to outwork everyone. And that's what I do. Day in, day out, I outwork everyone.
That's
So,
insane. But
yeah.
someone might look at him now and be like, well, he already has the talent, right? So
Yeah.
it's like a snapshot. If you're just looking at the snapshot, it's like, oh, well, he already has it. And that's their excuse. I freaking
Yeah.
love that quote. That's awesome.
Yeah. But they
Hmm.
don't see that it's been going on for the past 35 years in his life,
Yep.
day in, day
Yep.
out. Yep.
That's
Running
crazy.
miles, shooting his bow, lifting, like
Yep.
being
The, what is
consistent.
the run, shoot, lift? Is
Lift,
that the
run,
order he does
yeah,
it?
lift, run,
Lift, run,
shoot.
shoot. So
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, and he's a hunter, so that obviously resonates with me. And he's an elk hunter, and um, there's some crazy stat like he has filled his tag every single year for the past 20 plus years. Like he's never missed
No way.
filling a tag one year for elk.
That's
So it's like,
insane.
and he says,
Oh
I
my
do this every
gosh.
single day to kill an elk. The reason why I'm running, the reason why I'm training, the reason why I'm shooting my bow all comes down to me killing an elk with that perfect arrow. So it's like, it's all about elk hunting.
Oh man, that's so cool.
It's cool. So yeah, he's been an influence in my life to keep me going, motivated, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That reminds me of Cason's because it was an elk that you got recently, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, archery.
That
That's
was
insane.
fun. Yeah. That
Yeah,
dude
that's
put in a
cool.
lot of work. It definitely takes a lot and he put it in. So he got
It's
rewarded.
so
It was
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh man.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so you're in Wyoming, right? You
Hmm.
got wide open land on either side of you. Um. It's funny. It's like more people I talk to, it's like they're deep down like if they ignored the social norms and let go of certain things, their goal would be to live out in the land in Wyoming or Idaho, have 10 acres, have the farm animals, have your kids be outside all the time. Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, a little bit.
Dude, it's crazy. The more people I talk to, it's like, wow. So, and it's like, okay, well, what's holding them back, right? Like, what's holding me
Yeah.
back personally? It's like, okay, maybe it's some friends, like my kids' friends. Maybe it's some of my own relationships, being close to family. Um, what made you finally make the leap? Like, what got you guys to Pinedale, Wyoming?
I know, right? Well, I had a buddy that lived here. We were running an online hunting magazine together, and we ended up starting a nonprofit. We There was a need for um, conservation help and management during the winter times. I don't know if you've been to Wyoming in the winter, but it's pretty brutal.
Nope.
Yeah. It's brutal and it takes a toll on the animals. Like they live out here in the plains and they just get pounded during the winters. So
Mm,
we felt like a lot of the nonprofits and conservation organizations were more focused on summer habitat or migration routes or things like that, to where we didn't really think anyone was paying attention to the winter range. Okay, once they get here to the winter range, then they're forgotten. Like there's sagebrush, there's things out there that need to be managed and helped to thrive so that those animals can live through the harsh winter. So that's kind of
yeah.
what did it for us. We were living in Arizona and trying to run it remotely, and it wasn't really working out. And somehow I talked Megan into leading leaving her job, my
Mhm.
job, Arizona, to move to some
Yep.
tiny stupid town in Wyoming. But we did it, and we fought really hard, tried really hard on that nonprofit. We ran into a lot of red tape and organizations that weren't really willing to partner, and they all had their own agendas and things like that. And We ended up just really slowing down, and me and my buddy kind of parted ways with it. He kept it to try to keep it going, and I just said, look, I moved away from here. I quit jobs, and I need to figure out something that's going to be financial so that I can help my family and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's the main reason that we parted. We just weren't it wasn't going as quickly or as good as we had anticipated it going.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of what brought us here. And then Megan always jokes, like, during that whole time we started a business for Megan. She's like, "You brought us here, and I'm keeping us here." And so, which is totally
Uh,
true. Like, I don't know if that was the reason why we started the nonprofit and moved up here, was so that her business could take its wings and start doing well, because it really has. She started, so she runs a med spa, and she started renting a tiny little room in a salon. And we thought, oh, she'll see two or three people a week, maybe,
yeah.
just be chill a couple days a week. And it blew up pretty fast. Like, we didn't realize the amount of people that were going to want the service that she could provide. And so she quickly outgrew that small room in the salon. And so we started looking for, other options for her a building. And this, goes right along with the real estate and stuff like that I've been trying to do. But we found a piece right on Main Street here, and we'd seen the sign a bunch, and it's an old beat up building, hundreds of years old, just old
Yeah.
log siding and about ready to fall over. And and then for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to call him. So I called him and chatted with him for a bit, and he was looking to get out of it, and he was an attorney, and he was ready to kind of wind down his career and was looking to sell. And so we made him an offer, and we didn't have a ton of money to put for a down payment or buy a commercial building right on Main Street. So I kind of brought him with the proposition of, hey, would you be interested, or would you consider seller financing this building to us?
Yeah.
Said, "Oh, I haven't really thought about that, but let me think it over." And I said, "Well, we sold our home in Arizona, and we've got a little bit of money, so we could probably give you a little bit, higher of a down payment, and then have you maybe carry some of the loan for us." And so he got back to it and said, "Yeah, that would work." So we ended up getting under contract with him, and buying the place under seller financing, and it's worked
It's
out super
insane.
good. Yeah,
That's so cool.
it there it is again. It just kind of fell into place, as it was needed. It was there, and he was willing to do that, and, like, just crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, we bought it. There were tenants in there, and he was still in there in the back, and so we were getting paid. We said, we'll let you guys work out for the rest of the year. I think it was 3 or 4 more months. So they kept paying us until the end of the year, and then they found a new spot, and he left. And once everyone was out, we demoed the whole thing. And that was, oh man, that was fun.
Real fun.
Yeah. Demoed it all, and found walls that weren't straight and floors that didn't
Yep.
exist and all kinds of crap in the old building. But took us about a year to renovate. And once we did it, we opened the doors, and she hasn't looked back. She's been doing super good with it.
That's awesome.
Got
Does she
a
love it?
Oh yeah, she loves it. She got a
Yeah.
couple of employees, just bringing on her third employee now,
Dang.
and yeah, she loves it. She loves what she does, and loves, how happy it makes the people that she is helping too. So it's really
Yeah.
fulfilling for her.
That's so
So
awesome. It made me, that whole thing. It's like you moved here for the range, the Witcher range, and it's like that didn't work out, but why the heck are we still here? And like
yeah,
um the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of his quotes that I love that kind of reminds me of this, but it's every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And so
love it.
I think that goes with, yeah, and we're just thinking of things in my own business right now. There's always something, and it's not perfect. I think that's another thing too that I get. I always want, like, if something's going to happen, I want things to be pretty much perfect. And I recognize that in myself, but you can push through the imperfect and still make it so successful. But it takes getting through all that crap to make it be that. Your storage units, that inspector that made you throw in that last minute $50,000 water drain pointless thing that he made you do.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and just being there, it's like, okay, we got to make this work, and boom, there you go. This new seed, it's like, okay, now that's giving you the mental capacity and mental space to be able to pursue these other routes and things that are truly going to create generational wealth, for you and your family.
Yeah,
So I
I
really love
I
that.
agree. Like I fully agree that, or think that things always happen the way they happen for a reason. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this took a year longer than we were planning to build. Why? There's got to be a
Yep.
why, and I'm going to learn that as I go.
Yep.
I think that's in everything. Like everything happens for a reason. So even if it sucks and it's terrible in the moment, it's like it's happening to
It's
us
gonna be
for
better. It's happening.
something.
It's happening for us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yep.
That's awesome. So that's so cool. Um, okay, so you're raising kids on you could call it a farm. You're hunting, fishing, building businesses. So I just want to ask you, so when your kids look back one day, what do you hope they say about your legacy?
Um, I mean, that's a pretty deep question, but I mean, it's a good one. I just hope they, can will be quick to forget the times that I wasn't patient. You got a toddler, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, yep. Oh my gosh.
But I think that hopefully they see that what matters in life is that you just keep going. You keep trying your best. Like I'm obviously not there, but I'm trying every day to do better. And I
Hmm.
think, by small and simple things, great things happen. And so if they
Yeah.
can see that through me, that, okay, maybe he wasn't, as successful up front, but he never stopped. He kept going, he kept pushing, and, eventually he got what he wanted. Like if you keep pushing in life and you work towards your goals, you can have them. It doesn't matter what they are, you can make it happen. So it just, I think hopefully they see that, yeah, there was that effort and consistency, and that's what will really stick with them, hopefully.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, you don't fail until you decide that you fail, right?
Yeah.
Um, Either win or you learn. And so until you say, "Yep, I fail."
Yep, I'm
So
done.
yeah, and yeah, you truly are able to continue, and it's just a part of the process. It's the process. I love my partner, Chase. He's just so positive, and sometimes I feel like I'm really positive, but we kind of balance each other out when I'm feeling more down or negative, or he's usually up. So usually we land on opposite days when that's happening. But yeah, we'll be, our one of our places just flooded and we're dealing with that right now. But it's like we're talking about it and we're pissed. We're like, this is so crappy. Interest rates just dropped and we got all these people interested in seeing it and they can't come see it right now. And um yeah, and then at the end of the call, Chase, the partner, is just like, but hey, like how lucky are we that we get this experience at such a young age, and like we're gonna just grow from this, and this is awesome. I'm just like,
It's like,
see ya.
get off my call.
Who is this guy?
That's awesome,
So it's
though.
so awesome.
Because you're right. I mean, through the process, you want to quit 100 times,
Yep.
and you're at the lowest of lows. But you wait one more day, and you're at the highest of highs. Like it's just
Yep.
crazy how that is. Or you wait 4 months in the low, and then you're at the high.
Exactly.
You never know, but
Like, when are you gonna
it
actually see this high?
yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
2 years later, we're starting to see the sun. So
Oh my gosh, for real. It's
yeah,
nuts.
that's
So
cool.
what are you
I like
excited
that.
about right now?
Oh, I'm excited about this this residential that we got going on, that really gets me excited. I talk to that realtor almost every day, and she's super pumped about it. And meeting you guys there yesterday or whenever it was, having you see it and do like that makes me excited. Is doing this
Yeah,
development and not only that, but like I've thought about it. Like I have potential to impact the city of Kemmerer,
totally.
and that
That's
kind
so
of
cool.
resonates with me. It's like it's not just me for personal gain, but like talking with the city officials and with residents of the town, like there is a need for what we want to do. And it's like, well, we'll help you any way we can. Like, like let us know
Dang.
what we can do. And it's like, well, if it's that big of a need and it's something that I can help facilitate like that would bring me a bunch of joy to be able to see that not only am I able to fulfill desires of my own, but also help a town to increase and progress and get to where it wants to be. Like that would be super
Yep.
sick.
That's so cool. It's pretty hard to continue in a goal that is only, you know, self-fulfilling or, just for you. So seeing that benefit of impacting so many people, like yourself, your family, and, the whole entire, that
Potentially,
every
yeah.
single person in Kemmerer, right? The 3,500 people.
You're
But
welcome.
hey, yeah, you're welcome. You can go
Yeah,
handshake every single one of them, probably.
yeah, probably one day.
Oh man, that's so awesome. Well, you're the
Yeah.
man, Kurt. Really appreciate
Cole,
having you on this.
so you've said a lot of nice words about me, and you're years and years younger than me, but I feel like you're way ahead of me. And so I really appreciate your
Man,
example too. And you've taught me a bunch. Like you got me into the wholesale thing and trying to figure out sub two and all that stuff. And I've learned a ton from you. So I really
man.
appreciate you and your hard work and the thing besides all the work and the dedication and stuff that you have to that, like, dude, you're a solid dad. You're a solid human being. Like, just love it. You're a great
Oh,
example. Appreciate you, man.
thanks, man.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, life is not easy, but it's like, man, if you can just root yourself in, it's crazy just how life shifts. And other people I've had on the podcast too. It's like you have kids, everything changes, and it's like people say that, but it's like in what ways? It's like all of a sudden you have this thing that you have to like, this person you have to care for, and it's like, wow, your purpose just gets so much deeper,
Hmm.
and it's like you're all of a sudden given the strength to do so much more, and you know, all for that. It's so awesome. So,
So cool. Yep.
anyway, so
Dude, thanks
all
for
right, you're the
talking me into
man.
this. Hopefully,
Yeah,
wasn't too terrible.
this is so good. This is so good. Appreciate it. So that is a wrap on today's episode of the Legacy Project. Curtis showed us what it looks like to build a life that refuses compromise, one rooted in independence, family, and a relentless pursuit of both adventure and enterprise. His story reminds us that legacy isn't just about financial success, but about raising families, building communities, and chasing passions with full conviction. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, leave a review, and remember that the legacy you leave tomorrow is built by the choices you make today. I'm Cole Stephenson, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.
Solid.